Hillary Clinton has a very weird, and I don't think she has a husband who is in love with her or faithful to her. And I think I can't really blame him because she seems to have accepted this behavior since the inception of their marriage. And so, past this prologue, you're going to get what you tolerate. You know, what you permit, you promote. She spent all of her daughter's upbringing away.
After they failed to do so and Donald Trump was declared the winner, we had major figures on the Democratic side say that he was not legitimately elected. Who were those people? The House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, said he was illegitimate. Hillary Clinton said he was illegitimate. Jimmy Carter said not only was he illegitimate, but he was elected through Russian agencies, which was demonstrably proved false by special prosecutor Robert Mueller.
Hillary Clinton built her career on inevitability, convinced the world owed her the presidency. But history had other plans. The so-called trailblazer became a symbol of overreach, a politician mistaking entitlement for destiny. Every comeback attempt since has only magnified the failure she can't escape. When Megyn Kelly and Victor Davis Hanson turn their focus on her, the unraveling is swift and brutal, exposing a legacy less about breaking ceilings and more about tripping over her own ambition.
It's a very different ballgame today than it was even 4 years ago, never mind 8 or 10 years ago when she was doing all this. And back to Hillary, you know, the whole, she has a hat she's tweeted herself out wearing, but her emails. She's tried to turn it into this ridiculous joke, like, oh, but the moon landing, like you nutcases who are still railing about this made-up scandal, this thing that, you know, you've used to try to unfairly tar me. She did need to distract from that email scandal, which was around her neck like an albatross. Trust me, we were covering it every night on the...
After 2016, he and Hillary, she was calling him Russian agent, and he was calling her Crooked Hillary. Everybody thought that given she had destroyed 30,000 emails on the devices on that day under subpoena, that he would have the DOJ go after. What did he say? The first thing he said, she's suffered enough. People went to him and said, you've got to fire James Comey, the director of the FBI. He tried to sabotage. I'm not going to do that.
If you're enjoying this, hit subscribe and tap the bell. Hillary Clinton's long been treated like political royalty, but royalty only works if people want to follow. For decades, she positioned herself as the inevitable torchbearer. Yet the more spotlight she got, the more cracks showed. Megyn Kelly and Victor Davis Hanson pounce on that reality like predators circling a wounded animal. What Clinton built wasn't a dynasty of achievement. It was a monument of ambition glued together by entitlement.
At the law firm, in the White House, running for office, and Chelsea Clinton is not a nice person. And I think really is just sort of getting along based on the family name at this point. And so now she's got a daughter who I guess married a rich guy, but is struggling in her own right. Hillary's in a loveless marriage. She probably doesn't have a lot of real friends, just people who are glamours. And so she absolutely does have to write a fifth memoir and go on MSNBC and be told that she's amazing and that she matters.
She's the definition of a politician confusing persistence with success. Running wasn't about conviction or vision. It was about claiming what she thought was hers. The irony? She had every tool, funding, connections, power networks, name recognition, and still fumbled. Megyn Kelly notes her biggest rival wasn't Obama or Trump. It was her inability to connect beyond the Beltway. The more she spoke, the more she sounded like a corporate memo by committee.
Also claimed, and listen to this, I mean, you probably already know this stuff, Glenn, but claimed that Attorney General Loretta Lynch, okay, this is back in 16, people, remember, Obama's president, Loretta Lynch is his Attorney General, and her DOJ/FBI are investigating the Hillary Clinton email scandal, and also now we learn simultaneously working with the Hillary Clinton campaign to bury that scandal in favor of calling Trump a Russian asset.
Victor Davis Hanson tears into the myth of her brilliance, framing her career as less triumph, more strategic misfires. Her Secretary of State tenure, touted as experience, boasts a record of Libya's disaster, the Russia reset button flop, and empty meetings yielding photo ops. Hanson doesn't exaggerate. He just presents the receipts. She claimed foreign policy expertise, but left the world more fractured and dangerous.
In the 2016 election, the Russian intelligence was tapped by the Dutch. The Dutch reported back to our intelligence. They're baffled because they haven't colluded with Donald Trump, but they have tapped into Hillary Clinton's communications, and she's saying that they have. And they want to know why this is, and they came to the conclusion that she's lying about the Russians because she was trying to protect her own email.
Kelly highlights how Hillary's persistence, her greatest weapon, was also her curse. Every rebrand backfired. In 2008, she was the inevitable first female president, only to be humbled by an unknown Illinois senator. In 2016, she recast as the seasoned pro to crush an outsider with no experience. Yet that outsider bulldozed her with rallies, nicknames, and a voter connection she couldn't match.
This woman should be in jail. Literally, Hillary Clinton should be behind bars. And so should the people who worked for her who did this. This is so blatantly corrupt. She wanted to distract from her email scandal. She cooked up a plan to accuse Trump of being a Russian agent in order to distract from her own legitimate scandal.
Hanson sharpens the blade, painting Hillary as modern politics' worst. She preached justice, but thrived on pay-to-play influence. The Clinton Foundation, flush with foreign donations during her tenure, looks less charitable, more ethically murky. She built an insider empire, then posed as everyday Americans' champion, a laughable disconnect. While farmers, small businesses, and factory workers struggled, she raked in six-figure Wall Street speeches, feigning relatability. Megyn Kelly digs into her persona's contradiction, projecting toughness, yet blaming every loss on Russians, misogyny, fake news, the FBI, Bernie, even voters. Real leaders own failures. Hillary catalogs hers in memoirs, sounding more like ghost-written therapy.
To Donald Trump to put an end to it on Russian terms. Donald Trump was not the author of the failed reset. The 2009 Geneva debacle where Hillary Clinton pushed that reset button and we were supposed to be friendly with Russia. Basically, we said, you should be democratic, you should be democratic. So they were loud but carried a twig rather than spoke softly with love. If there is a peace settlement, it will be the work, whether the left likes it or not, of Donald Trump, the one world leader among the three that has nothing to do with this war. It didn't start on his watch. It may well be his doing to stop it.
What's damning is how her political decades, her supposed strength, became her downfall. Experience didn't make her relatable. It made her part of the swamp Americans wanted drained. Hanson nails it. Her instincts are stuck in the 90s, thinking policy binders could outshine raw energy and charisma. Every move aimed for headlines, but they read distant, scripted, unlikable. The roast deepens as Hanson asks her legacy, what's left? Not healthcare reform, landmark laws, or an inspiring presidency.
And what's really kind of scary is just that sentiment blew up her 2016 campaign with the deplorables and irredeemable. This was kind of an elaboration, but it went further. And you'd think that she would have learned not to say things that would destroy her viability as a spokesperson, much less a candidate, and she hasn't. She's doubled down on it. This comes in the context, remember, with the Homeland Security are drafting known liars who lied under oath, James Clapper and John Brennan, to be an advisory group for internal security. And we have a technology now that allows what she's talking about.
She's the cautionary tale of American politics, the candidate with everything, delivering nothing. Hanson notes even her party's enthusiasm was lukewarm. She divided Democrats, leaving resentment still fracturing them. Kelly delivers the punchline. Hillary's relevance obsession stems from her relevance fear. That's why she keeps popping up with interviews, op-eds, and democracy takes, clawing back into the conversation. But history's moved on. She's clinging to an unwanted spotlight. Each speech recalls campaigns that should have won but humiliated. The takedown isn't just mocking her career. It dismantles the illusion of destined greatness. Hanson and Kelly peel back the mythology, showing she wasn't cheated by fate but beaten by her flaws. Entitlement for destiny, branding for charisma, excuses for leadership. When the dust settles, her history spot isn't first female president, but the most famous political almost.
They stole his first term as president. These absolute liars who run around trying to act like they're the protectors of democracy completely ruined it, tried to undermine it at every turn and at the highest levels with lies, with out and out lies that were really serious, and changed foreign policy and changed the course of history in this country in Trump's presidency. And there must be accountability. There has to be actual criminal accountability for those who lied. And I can't wait to see this administration do.
Hillary Clinton's been treated like royalty, but royalty needs followers. For decades, she posed as the inevitable torchbearer. Yet the more spotlight she got, the more cracks emerged. Megyn Kelly and Victor Davis Hanson strike like predators on a wounded animal. What she built wasn't an achievement dynasty. It was an entitlement-held monument of ambition. She's the politician mistaking persistence for success. Running wasn't about conviction or vision. It was claiming her due. The more she spoke, the more she sounded like a committee-written corporate memo.
Hillary Clinton, of course, is the original election denier. I'm sure you voted for her in 2016.
Well, she's not an election denier.
She absolutely was the OG election denier.
First of all, she came out before the sun had risen to concede the election to Trump.
And then spent the next 4 years saying he was illegitimate. He was an illegitimate president.
Okay, well, first of all, she didn't say he was an illegitimate.
Yes, she did.
You tell me exactly what she said.
She said those exact words repeatedly.
Victor Davis Hanson dismantles her brilliance myth, casting her career as strategic misfires over triumphs. Her Secretary of State stint, billed as experience, left Libya in ruins, the Russia reset a flop, and meetings yielding photo ops. Hanson sticks to the facts. She claimed foreign policy mastery, but left the world more broken. Kelly notes her persistence, her strength, was her curse. In 2008, she was the inevitable first woman president, humbled by an obscure Illinois senator. In 2016, she rebranded as the seasoned pro to crush an outsider. Yet he steamrolled her with rallies, nicknames, and voter ties she couldn't replicate.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's also scary because when you look in her eyes, you don't think that there's no irony there at all. She's dead serious. And she's still bitter that she lost the election, and she feels that the Trump supporters denied her in that. She has no self-awareness. She herself tried to spy on her opponent, caused the whole election collusion, resisted a subpoena for emails, destroyed devices under subpoena. It doesn't occur.
Hanson cuts deeper, framing Hillary as modern politics' low point. She preached justice, but leaned on pay-to-play influence. The Clinton Foundation, rich with foreign cash during her tenure, feels less charity, more ethical blur. She built an insider empire, then posed as the people's champ, a laughable gap. While workers grappled with reality, she cashed six-figure Wall Street gigs, playing relatable. Megyn Kelly probes the persona's heart, tough on the outside, excusing every loss on Russians, misogyny, fake news, the FBI, Bernie, even voters. Experience didn't connect her. It tied her to the swamp Americans rejected.
Is election denialism unique? No. In 2016, in that interregnum between the election and the December certification, almost nightly, Hollywood actors went on television and they appealed to the electors who were constitutionally bound to reflect the majority vote in their state. They made a direct appeal to be what we call false electors. In other words, there were direct appeals do not in these key swing states.
Megyn captures her dated instincts perfectly, campaigning like it's the 90s, betting policy binders could beat energy and charisma. She underestimated opponents, thinking credentials trumped authenticity. Kelly skewers her manufactured image, awkward TV dances, forced relatable jokes, all landing flat because inauthenticity reeks. Criticism laughs sounded hollow. Vulnerability felt calculated. Moves aimed for headlines, but read distant, scripted, unlikable. Hanson revisits the legacy question. What's her mark? Not reform, laws, or inspiration.
A scandal about Trump being a Russian asset. And they banked on the intel agencies working with her to perpetuate this lie, and it appears they were only too happy to assist. That's what this scandal's about. Pieces of it we knew. New pieces are coming in by the day thanks to these declassifications. And it's downright shocking. Do not believe that there's no there. People who are saying that are wrong. They're wrong.
Her legacy is losing Obama, Trump, the public's trust. She's the cautionary tale with everything, delivering nothing. Hanson notes her party's tepid support. She divided Democrats, leaving fractures today. Kelly lands the punchline. Her relevance chase masks irrelevance dread. She resurfaces with interviews and takes, clawing into talks. But history's moved on. She wasn't fate's victim. Her flaws beat her. Entitlement for destiny, branding for charisma, excuses for leadership. Her history spot isn't first female president, but the most famous political almost.